What did you do, Kristen?
What happened?
What did you do?
I'm trying to break it down when starting my meetings.
It seems like it.
You know my next one can't be
There you
streamed
go.
anyways.
Nice.
Okay. That's okay. Then. Ready?
How's it going?
Ready?
Yep.
Ready, set, go.
All right, today is Tuesday, May 27th, and it is 11:03 a.m., and I call this meeting of Ucga to order. All right, first up on the agenda after the call to order is the roll call. So we'll go through the committee attendance. I, Brandon Hartman, am here. If you guys can just say your name for the record, that would be perfect. So go ahead.
Ryan Richmond.
Perfect.
Nick Gigante.
Mr. Max.
Okay.
Jordan Fettner.
Perfect. And then in the gallery we have Pro Tempore Aziz. Should I add that as well?
Well, say that Imran is unexcused.
Okay. And Imram is unexcused. Okay. Also in the gallery we have the Senate President, Andy, and JEC Chairwoman, Kristen. So thank you all for coming. What's up?
Did it calculate for you? Yeah.
Perfect. All right, next up on the agenda are the additions, deletions, and/or clarifications to the orders of the day. Take a look at them. If you see any changes that have to be made, feel free to speak up. And at 11:04, GMO Jessica walked into the meeting. Okay, seeing no adjustments, are there any motions to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Okay. Any objections? Seeing none, we'll move on. Additions, deletions, and/or changes to the minutes. The minutes haven't been sent out, so are there any motions to postpone the minutes?
I move to postpone
Perfect.
the minutes.
Any objections? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. All right, open forum. Any announcements or things you guys would like to mention? Aziz?
And say for your first meetings, I have like chair call your name, or you say your name, so the secretary person that types it up will know, because you're new, for you like to recognize your voices.
Perfect.
And that's all.
Thank you. All right, anything else? All right, then we'll enter new business. So first up are icebreakers and introductions. So if we can just go around the room and basically mention your name and if you were stranded on an island, what 3 items you would bring along. So does anybody really like to get started?
What do you think?
All right. Aziz?
Alright, stranded on an island. 3 things.
Also, if you can mention your major, your
So-
year, and
Major is
college.
global health, graduate student. And 3 things on an island. Is there a size limit to these items?
No.
Alright, so bring a submarine.
Good one.
That's it. Well, like, and some food. And a backup submarine.
Nice. All right. President Andy.
I would bring a machete, a water filter, and probably like a Kindle or something to read books.
Nice. Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica. For those of you I don't know, I'm one of the advisors in Escate. So I don't have a major staff, but I would bring sunblock, a water, no, probably a pot to be able to boil water and cook food, and my cell phone.
I'm Jordan Fettner. biology major in the College of Arts and Sciences. If I was stranded on an island, I would bring knife, matches, and a fishing pole.
Very nice.
I'm Nick Gante. I'm a Ucga major, College of the Arts. Let's see. If I was on an island, probably a submarine, like you said, like that. Probably a chef. Would be a good idea. Cook me some food. And I don't know, a knife. Yeah, knives are fun.
I'm Kristen. My major is biomedical sciences, and I was stranded on an island. Let's see. Realistically, I should really bring tarp, rope, maybe a knife. I'm not saying that's what I would want to bring, but that's what I would bring. I'd bring a house with electricity if I could. Just a nice little beach house on the island.
And I'm Ryan. I'm I'm an accounting major in the College of Business. And the 3 things I would bring probably be an iPad, probably like a burrito water filter thing, and a boat.
Nice. Alright, and I'm Brandon. I am a senior biomedical sciences, like everybody else, at College of the Arts and Sciences. If I was stranded on an island, I would bring probably a knife as well. You can go fishing with that and everything. Then a laptop, so I can watch YouTube videos on survival. And boat sounds nice. Yep. Alright, perfect. Thanks, guys. So next up on new business is the Google Drive committee folder. And this is something that I want to provide to you guys so that you guys can be up to date with all the documents that we use in our committee. So we can take a look at it. Here you have the folder itself, and basically there are 4 parts to it at the moment that might increase, but anytime something changes, you'll be aware of it because you will have access to it. You just do it through your USF email. So committee documents, we have the committee roster, which I will update at today's meeting, then sample agendas and sample minutes, and then also the standard operating procedures, which we follow. Alright. And then for the fall UCGA schedule, this is just a schedule that we can plan out so that we know that we are sticking to our goals of, for example, 2 10 days a month and such. So I filled out a little bit, but this is to be determined as we discuss it more over time. Then 10 days, here we have some sample materials. So the resource list, this is like all the stuff that you basically need to be aware of when you plan your 10th day. So if you need any of these materials or food or Bulls radio to make it more interactive, you can find it all on here. And you can also use marketing options that are provided here. Then we have some samples of 10th day flyers. So there's actually a marketing department here. If you have a big idea for a 10th day and you want to market it really heavily, they can make a flyer for you. So this was one of the flyers that was done for last semester's 10th day about healthy eating. I don't know if it's going to load, but it's basically like an event flyer that any other student org would use. This is another one for a 10th day about a blood drive. And then we also have a contact list. So whenever you want to request some materials, these are the preferred time frames that you will use. But if it's within, there are exceptions. You just want to talk to people and see if they can be flexible, if that makes sense. And then we also have a proposal and a sign-in sheet for the 10th day itself, because I'm sure there's going to be positive points, correct? So we want to keep track of the times and such. And this is sample schedule. So if you have a 10th day set up and you want to make sure that there's somebody there at all times, even if you have to leave for class, you can make sure that there's basically no empty spots by doing something like this. This is something that we did last year. All right. And then we also have a summer UCGA schedule. So we'll be talking about that a little later. Any questions? So I'll make sure to share this with you guys, and once it is shared, you'll receive an email notification. Perfect. If you like need any help logging in or like knowing how to use the Google Drive, feel free to ask me as well. Okay, committee presentation and overview. This is basically similar to the one we had in the Senate last week. So was everybody there to see it? Yeah, perfect. Okay. Does anybody want to see it again or have any questions regarding the committee? Perfect. Okay. All right, and then I wanted to go over a little initiative and 10th day brainstorm. So a lot of times in the past, the 10th days have been stuff that we're passionate about. So like certain senators were passionate about the blood drive and making sure that, you know, blood donations stay, you know, level during all times. So that's why he did a 10th day about blood drives and such. Then another guy, he did a blood drive about the healthy eating, and it was more actually about halal food and like healthy food for people who cannot eat like regular chicken because it's not necessarily like allowed by their religion, if that makes sense. And then there are other 10th day options as well, whatever you prefer. So if you're really passionate about Greek, I noticed you have a Beta Chi shirt. Like you can, you know, have a 10th day at Greek Village regarding an issue that pertains to Greeks, if that makes sense. So this is kind of like a little brainstorm session to figure out what you're passionate about and what you can have a 10th day about. And then what we really want you to do is like take that idea to the next level. You know, see how you can change it, get the numbers, and then with those numbers, for example, take it to administration and tell them, listen, Greek, you know, really wants that gravel parking lot, like turn into a real parking lot. And here are the numbers to prove, you know, that the Greeks want it. So make it happen, you know, if that makes sense. Any questions? So I actually have a list of issues that students have brought up in the past, but as I pulled it up, I would love for you guys to like think about what you're passionate about, like what you want to see at USF, just from your personal experience or what you heard from your friends, and then, you know, possibly having a 10th day about that. So let me just pull that list up. Okay, so this is a list from a 10th day that was just really broad. What we did was set up these easels, and we basically had candy, and we asked students to write on a sticky note, and in exchange they would get a piece of candy. And the prompt was basically, what would you like to see improved at USF, or what's missing at USF? And then with those sticky notes, we would actually like group them. So we could see like, oh, a lot of students care about the parking, and you would see like, you know, 20 sticky notes just about parking. But you also see like certain issues are just one sticky note. But basically look over this, and if you see something that you agree with as well, feel free to go with it. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds. Some of them are really like broad, but you can make it more specific, of course. All right. So going off of that, we have the goal of doing 2 10th days per month. So basically having a committee meeting and then a 10th day and then a committee meeting and a 10th day. And every time we have a committee, we would review the previous 10th day, like a debrief, and then like brief for the upcoming week. So knowing that goal, we basically want to set out a plan to where we can have a 10th day every other week, if that makes sense. So just to go around the room, do you guys have any like initiatives or things that you're like passionate or that you want to see on campus that we can relate or turn into a 10th day?
Do we gotta recycle or?
You can recycle as well. For example, this list, this is just a broad 10th day, so it wasn't about anything specific. But if you wanted to do another broad 10th day so that we can see, you know, what the students want or to add onto this, we can. But since we already have all these things here,
Yeah, it's really
yeah, exactly. So preferably we would take this information and take it to the next level. So we see a lot about parking, and we can work with the court so they can provide us manpower and their connections to possibly having another parking forum or something like that. Then we have other issues regarding dining and athletics and activities and such. So if you're passionate about that, feel free to mention it. So if we can just go around the room, like if you have something.
Well, I'm thinking of was
Just your name.
I'm Ryan Richmond, and I'm an entrepreneur right now, and that's what I do. And me and my business partners want to encourage more young students to become entrepreneurs, but pretty much the only thing holding back young kids is that they don't have the funds. So maybe survey if because what we want to do is be able to provide for them, be their venture capitalist to get them going. So if students knew that they had the opportunity to open up a business with knowing that funds would be provided, would they go and take that initiative?
Yeah, that sounds really creative actually. If we can tie that into a survey,
Yeah,
okay,
so I
right.
don't tie that in, but yeah,
right.
just
That's
encourage
perfect.
more business.
Perfect. Okay. Nick.
Yeah, Nick Gigante. Well, I'm in the marching band, so I actually go to every football game, home game, unfortunately, because but yeah, there's more football players than there are students. So I think we need to on there it said improve the football team. I think it said, but obviously we can't do that ourselves. So maybe we can have a station where some of the new football players come out and hang out, play sport games. And
Right.
something like that, so that they get to know him and want to go to the games and see. Oh, I hung out with that guy.
That's a great idea. So how could we possibly turn that into a survey in addition to just hanging out and playing, being toss with the football players?
Maybe which sport games you went to this year and see who goes to what sport.
Okay. We can talk about that. And then
Jordan Gutner, and what I've noticed is we have a lot of medical facilities around campus. I think it'd be cool to this survey saying what students want to intern with these and what they want to intern with in certain buildings and who they want to talk to and get to know. So that way when if they're biomedical majors or any kind of medical majors, that they kind of know what's available for them when they get out, instead of just they know that they're in, but they don't know what's around them.
Wow. Nice. And then you also have an idea, correct?
Yes.
Do you want to bring that up later, or this is first thing?
Can I bring?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm working on a proposal right now. I've kind of started, but I'm trying to put my ideas together so I can all put on paper about more outreach to students. I'm planning a CAS event, College of Arts and Sciences, at the beginning of the fall semester, kind of a kickoff thing. So I was thinking of working with Ucga to have a tent day in which we would see where most CAS students are, what days are here, around what times, and what kind of event they would go to. So I'm still working on that, but I was thinking about having the tent day either. I kind of started working on that really. So I'm thinking either in the summer or the very beginning of fall, have a tent day, and then the event would be more in September-ish. September, beginning of October. So kind of trying to figure out where most CAS students are, because our college is spread out everywhere. We have ISA or Cooper, some classes are in social science, and there's BSF. So there's not really one building like College of Education. So kind of trying to figure out where everyone is and around what times.
Very nice. I like that. All right. So those were some very good ideas. So basically, what we want to do is make them reality, take them to the next level. So I don't know if you would think that it's too ambitious to have a 10th day next week, correct? Knowing all the deadlines and.
If you want to have it in the March Center, that would be faster. Depends where you want to hold it.
Yeah, because we don't have bull market anymore in the summer. So what do we do with our tents?
We can just put it wherever.
Okay.
We just have to make sure to ask permission and either talk to March
Are they
Center
usually
or
on a Wednesday bull market?
Wednesdays are normally, bull market days. The reason we chose Tuesdays is because, according to Abdul, there are more classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So even like when we had 10 days last year, they were on Tuesdays?
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay.
Because during bull market, like normally like the court has an outreach, so like, and because bull market is very like packed and other things are going on, we want to have more of a day just dedicated to 10 day, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could do it anything.
Right, yeah, and then if we do something need like food, normally you can already get that at bull market. So Tuesdays is like another way for students to get food, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
And
I don't know, this is probably more of a question for Jessica and Morgan, but do you know if we're allowed to even have maybe like a 10-day during the week of welcome? And have like a week of welcome event, maybe even get it in the brochures, and like I think something that would be perfect was like a big general one. That way more students will be inclined to come and like you can really get some opinions, but are we allowed to do that, you know?
So yes, you could host your own event, or you could also host it with the program that Student Government will be doing for Week of Welcome, and then it's one effort. I probably recommend that just for traction, because I think there's so many events going on that students are using. But if you wanted to do a separate event that's just the 10 day, then I think that's okay. We can submit it to the brochure. So they will typically highlight 1 or 2 student government events, which is typically our barbecue. So I don't know if it will be like a highlighted event or if it will just be in the list of. And in terms of the 10 days, just so you guys know, in terms of purchasing food, we just need about 10 business days for that to be submitted and processed. If you guys want to do one on this upcoming Tuesday, I could probably get you space in time, but I'm not sure that we'll be able to get you food in time.
do we still have candy left over from previous templates?
I don't think we have any candy left over now. So just so you know that, but definitely if you guys are planning, try and plan, 2 to 3 weeks out to allow time for a reservation. If you guys do your calendar for 10 days for, through the fall semester, then we can put all of those reservations in, pretty relatively soon, and you have the space reserved. So however you guys want to do it for your committee, but I'm gonna know you have some dates up there, but
Right.
just let Tammy or myself know, and we can put reservations into the system. We have an ASBO tents that you can reserve. So they're actually student government tents that you'll be able to use for the 10 days. And that's what we take out to the market is our own tents.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so it's probably too ambitious to have one next week, knowing that a lot of planning is required. But since we have to do vice chair elections next week as well anyways, it's probably wiser to just have another committee meeting, and then either the week after that or the following week after that week having a 10th day or inaugural like first 10th day of the summer, if that makes sense.
With food and make it big.
Right, exactly. Jessica.
I was also just gonna say, I think sometimes we pick topics that could be, we could host a 10 day in collaboration with other events that are occurring on campus to really get students input. So for instance, like sometimes we'll do a wellness survey, but we don't actually talk to wellness that we're doing that. So there might be questions that they also could really help us formulate, and information that they're looking for to help improve programs and services. So I would love for y'all to think about what topics you want far in advance so that we can contact those departments to which you would then be sending that information to. Because I think if you guys are going to advocate for students in an area, then being able to give that department the opportunity to say, okay, here are some things that we're working on, maybe here's how, a question you could ask that would help us to be better informed, or just for them to know, because I think sometimes we do it retroactively, like, oh, we did this information for you, and I hear Roman say, oh, I wish we would have known, because maybe we could have asked, this is one question we would have liked to really have included.
Okay, perfect. I like that. So just going off of that, what she was saying, for example, if you have an idea regarding, the entrepreneurship, maybe talking to the credit union and the College of Business as well, so that they can help us out and, like she was saying, provide questions that they would like answers to as well for our survey, because ideally we want to survey the students and get some statistics so that we can show that, 90% of the students do want to see this. So, we definitely want to like put this on the radar and make it a priority, whatever it is. And the same goes for, you know, your idea with working with athletics, for example, and your idea as well. Just a department on campus. Okay, so that brings us to vice chair elections, which would be next week. So for anybody who knows that they'll be returning to Senate next year, or yeah, next year basically, like having the elections and then coming next year, if that makes sense, and is interested in, you know, becoming a leader in Senate as well, whether it be committee chair or one of their positions, and would like to, you know, get some leadership experience before they go to that level. Vice chair elections or vice chair position is a perfect like stepping stone towards that, if that makes sense. And it also looks very good because you get experience chairing meetings and such. And yeah, so just if you are interested, we'll have the elections next week. Preferably what I ask of the interested candidates is to send me an email and do that by this Friday. I'll probably send out a reminder email letting you guys know and all the other committee members to please email me if you are interested so I can add it to the agenda. And then also if you want, which is highly recommended if there are multiple people, also make a presentation or something like a Prezi or a PowerPoint about your qualifications and your experience and, you know, why the rest of the committee members should vote for you, if that makes sense. So definitely look into it. It's not a hard job. You'll get a lot of experience chairing. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know as well. Okay. So going on with that, we'll probably agree to make next week a committee meeting. So I'll change that if it lets me. And then we'll decide regarding the 2 weeks after that on that meeting. So, but until then, I want you guys to like think about your, you know, your topic, your initiative, and see how we can turn it into a 10th day and take it to the next level. I might actually like reach out to you guys and have like a one-on-one so that we can, you know, like get the pre-planning going, make sure that, you know, we're on the same page, so that when we do actually like want to have the 10th day itself, then we can, you know, like hit the ground running, if that makes sense. Any questions so far? Perfect. Okay. So we kind of went over the future schedule as well. I'll tinker with this a little bit more and I'll share this after the meeting with you guys as well. So if you ever like want to know what our future schedule is or any of the other like documents of the committee, just go to the drive, which you will have access to, and you can, you know, always call me as well, but, or text me or email. But if, you know, I don't reply right away and you need to know it right away, you can always check this folder over here, if that makes sense. All right, so having covered that, we'll move on to the next portion, which is announcements. Are there any announcements that anybody would like to make? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
And Jordan Kutner. All right. Any objections? All right, seeing none, we are adjourned. Thanks, guys. Good job.
Brandon.